Hello guys, up on Mauna Kea, doing a little evening bow hunt, and haven't seen much for this evening, but I probably won't see much anyway up here, so thought I'd maybe just take the time to go over something pretty popular, and that's the bow hunting setup, the bow hunting rig, top to bottom, what and why, and maybe through that, kind of sharing that experience, maybe it might give some of you guys out there some ideas, or I don't know, just sharing in this thing we love, bow hunting. So I'm gonna start off with my bow. It's see if we can, I'm not sure if that's in focus, but it's I think I bought it in 2017, so it's a 2017 Hoyt Pro Defiant. It's the 30-inch model, so the shorter one. My draw length is 26.5 inches, 70 pounds of draw weight. I think before the bow, maybe I'll just do the arrows. Right now I'm shooting Easton axis arrow, the 5mm axis. This one's tipped here with a 1.7 Sever broadhead, a mechanical broadhead. But I also, in my other videos I explained this, I also use a fixed blade as well. This is a 100 grain standard slick trick. So both a mechanical and a fixed blade. I only carry one fixed blade and 3 mechanical arrows. Basically my philosophy of use there is, while I'm stalking, as you can see it's very brushy out here, I don't want my mechanical blades kind of catching on something and popping looser when the moment comes. So I'll stalk around with my fixed blade head, and if it's 50 yards and under and not too windy, I'll just shoot it with the fixed head. But if it ends up having to be a further shot, or maybe a shot I'm gonna have to use a lot of precision, something in a tight spot or whatever, generally you're gonna have more time to assess that shot. So then at that point I'll probably take off my fixed blade and elect to use the mechanical, in this case a Sever 1.7. I've been loving the Sever. I only got the 1.7s here, but I also have the 1.5 just for my short draw. But I've taken cheap pretty far with this Sever 1.7, so seems to work out just fine. Back of my arrow, it's a 3.6, yeah, 360 flex fletch. You kind of see maybe the angle of my twist there. It's about a 2-degree helical, left helical. Only left because that's from my trad setup on my fletching jig, and I just didn't change it. But yeah, I tend to use a 3.5 inch, little bit bigger vane, just because I do shoot a fixed head. If I was just shooting this mechanical only exclusively, I could get away with a far smaller vane. But since I want a little bit more control for this fixed head, because I do use it frequently as well. So that's the arrow there. Total weight about 440 grains. Little on the heavier side for a short draw like me, but gets the penetration out there. And going about maybe mid 260s, so 260 feet per second, mid 265, somewhere on there. So not very fast, but good enough. Onto the bow. I got a case on it, so this is I don't know if it shows up. This is a Solo Hunter case, and I've kind of modified it with some Velcro on it. If you look around here, there's a lot of brush, so kind of, when I was a kid, if you just piled through the brush with your bowstrings wouldn't last too long. So having a good cover like this really extends the life of your strings and really protects the most delicate part of your bow, which is the strings. If you guys look at my old videos, I hunted in 2017 for ibex on the Florida mountains. If I didn't put a string cover, my strings would have been destroyed on that hunt. Everything on that mountain scratches, bites you, and pretty much wants to kill you. So my bow would have been destroyed had I not had something like that. And also it's got a sling on it, so the sling, you can sling it around your back if you need to climb cliffs and things like that. So that's kind of the use there. And then when I'm packing far, I put everything together and I put it on my pack. It's just easier than to lug around. Or if I have a lot of weight, like packing out a big buck or something like that, I can sling the bow, and I got at least one hand free to do other things, run a flashlight, run my trekking pole or whatever. So getting back to the bow, yeah, I don't buy a whole lot of new gear, so it's probably about 3 years old now, and I absolutely love this bow. I got no complaints really. Starting from the top perhaps, oh, maybe I could start with the quiver. So it's a detachable one-piece quiver. It's the Hoyt, the carbon one. I don't think they make this one anymore, but I really love it. It's super light. I like a light quiver because I don't want unbalancing on the bow. I only carry 4 arrows. If I need more, I'll bring a 2, but probably if I shoot more than 4 arrows, I suck and I should probably stop hunting for the day. So, but yeah, I only carry 4. It's really light. It helps me shoot with it. But the other thing is I like a one piece because say it's going to be an extended shot and I've had time to assess that shot and I'm going to take it, I'll generally take the quiver off. Or if I'm at a very rested position, just kind of waiting for the game, I'll take the quiver off. And it just makes shooting a lot easier. The bow balances more naturally for me. And yeah, that's the reason for the one piece instead of a 2-piece. Getting to the sight, it's a 5-pin black gold sight. Hard to see here, but hopefully you can see there. It's 5-pin. I use the bottom pin here as my roving pin. If you can see, I got my sight scale here. It's 60 to 100 yards. So top pin's 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and then I'll dial the sight down for anything beyond 60 yards. Some people might freak out and be like, oh, you got a 100-yard mark. Yeah, I do practice pretty extended ranges. Have I used it in the past? Yes, I have, but generally, not generally, always, I will always assess a long-range shot based on my abilities, the wind, the animal's behavior, those kinds of things. So it's not something I just willy-nilly go flying arrows. But a simple fixed peep, nothing fancy. It's a Fletcher peep. I think it's a 1/8 inch peep, but then we drilled it out to 5/32, I believe. Yeah, 1/8 to 5/32, something like that, because it didn't fit so well, and it fits perfectly. It just eclipses my whole sight housing. Helps me line up the sight. When I line it up, I really want it totally clipped, so all I do is I pretty much just line up the bottom edge and check the bubble. Working my way down. Got the Hamsky drop away. It's if you can see here, it's a limb driven drop away cord. I'm still using the the knock-on limb clamp. I used to shoot the knock-on rest, but and ended up just kind of liking the Hamsky just a little better. The launcher arm itself, it does wear a little bit when you first use it. So as you first tune it, you probably might not want to tune it brand new. You might want to shoot it a bit, get that wear going till it doesn't wear anymore, and then use it from there. But it's been a super bulletproof arrow rest, and part of the reason why I stuck with this one versus the knock-on or the AAE one I had before. And you know, the whale tail, it just captures the arrow a little better. I've had the other one fall off here and there, and it's just a little more noisy. I've played with cable driven rests, you know, like the QADs or maybe the early what's it called, the early trophy taker ones. But yeah, it's pretty hard to beat the limb driven. It's just super simple to set up. I mean, just time it and you're ready to go. And even if it gets out of time, if you ever have to cut the cord or you got to so the cord stretches and you got to put it back together, I just noticed it seems to have less variation if you don't kind of get it exactly right, and the cable one seems to be a bit more sensitive to putting it back if you just had to eyeball guess it in an emergency. Yeah, going to the stabilizer, I got you can read it there, it's a 10-inch bee stinger. You see my finger's 8-inch, so not a super long 12-inch or 15-inch or anything. I shoot a 10 just because it is brushy here. I don't want to catch it on brush in front of me. I actually had an instance when I was a kid. I used to shoot a 12 or 15, those long mercury filled ones or hydraulic filled ones, and I used to use it to stalk. You know, you can put the bow down and it don't hit stuff, so that was real nice. But it got too long that I actually drew back and had a tree next to me, and the mouflon went to the other side of the tree, and I couldn't get the bow around the tree. I literally had to let down, risk screwing the whole deal up, draw back again and shoot it. So I got lucky on that one. But you know, that was those little lessons along your bow hunting life. You're just gonna never forget them, and you're not gonna make those same mistakes again. So that was that. It's 8 ounces on the front, not a whole lot of weight. My target rig, if you guys follow me, you'll see that I have a back bar or side bar on my target rig. I used to have a sidebar on my hunting bow, but I learned a really hard lesson with the hunting bow, and I think, you know, it's not every bow, but just depends how you shoot and what you do. When I was prepping for the ibex hunt in 2017, or yeah, 2017 ibex hunt, I had a side rod on my bow then, and I just didn't shoot enough target to know what was going on, but I had sighted in my third axis and everything, and I shoot downhill, spot on 0 to 100 yards, no problem. But when I would point uphill, I would generally find my arrows were always going to the right. I changed my form, I did all kinds of things, and I just could never figure out what it is. And since that time, I got this bow, and I changed some things, and I just didn't like the side rod on this bow. I just was like, just by coincidence, like, you know what, I don't need it. I shoot just fine with the straight bar, and you know, if I'm going to shoot far, I'll typically just take off my quiver, so I'll get rid of that balancing issue. And I did the same thing. Came up the mountain, shot in my third axis, downhill great, pointed uphill, bang on, every shot solid. And then I began to start to think, because I shoot target stuff too, that, you know, just torquing the bow a little bit based on the direction that you're pointing the bow up or down, having a side load on the bow, and having the, you know, the higher let off hunting bows, I believe that when I was pointing downhill it didn't seem so bad, but when I would point the bow uphill to shoot, just that side load and the higher let off on the hunting bow models, it would torque the bow just a little bit and cause my arrows to hit toward the right. I'm a left-handed shooter, so I think, you know, my philosophy there, I think, is if you can get away with minimal loading on the bow hunting, just because you're going to shoot so many angles up and down, you never know what it's going to be. Well, in my situation, you can see I'm up on the mountain, there's a lot of angles up here, then, you know, you might want to minimize those opportunities for having torque in the system and stuff like that. So that's that. Now you're probably wondering, how come you have a side rod on your target bow? Well, my target bow is a whole lot stiffer system, and the holding weight on the target bow is a lot less let off, so I think it gives it less opportunity for torquing. But yeah, that's my rig, 2017 Hoyt Pro Defiant. Love this bow. Hopefully maybe it gives you guys some ideas what to do with your bow. But yeah, just sharing my equipment. Whoa, hear the machine guns? They're flying the helicopters, and a lot of military training down there. They've been shooting machine guns and rockets all afternoon, so maybe that's why I didn't see any sheep. I don't know. I think they're probably used to it up here, but I lie. Actually, I did see a ewe and a small ram a little earlier, but that was it. Oh, hear those rockets hitting now. Anyway, yeah, that's the setup. Hopefully it's useful to you guys. Catch you guys in the next one. Aloha.